1 second from half court.
Jumping for joy.
First ever.
A 2-on-1. Oh,
did he bring it in? He did.
It is
caught!
Good evening, high school football fans. This is Frank Wolf from Western New York Athletics, joined by Tom Prince today on tonight's broadcast on the NFHS Network, the Section 6 Class A quarterfinal between McKinley Max of Buffalo and the Clarence Red Devils. And it's going to be a fantastic game for both of these teams. Tom, they made the playoffs, and it was an exciting season. McKinley had a very strong season, going in A2 at 6-2, 6-1 overall. And then Clarence, the Red Devils, finished their season 5-3, 4-2 inside their division. Chris Dixon, first-year coach for Clarence. Brian Davis has been at McKinley for a number of years now. He's got one of the top young quarterbacks in the area, ready to let it fly here.
Yeah, this is going to be a fun one. It really is. And it's a rematch if you think about the last week of the season last year, where it meant McKinley had to win that game to get into the playoffs, came up big, and there's no doubt there are a lot of players still left from that game, and this will be a fun one to be able to watch. No doubt what Clarence brings to the table is that offensive line. It is big, it is strong, and it is something that's been in the making for the past 3 years. So no doubt we'll see some big line play when it comes to Clarence.
And as you had alluded to in the weeks coming up to this game, specifically on Wednesday night's show, Western New York High School Football Weekly, you mentioned just about everybody on that line was awarded at least once during the year for a Trench Trophy, and 4 of the 5 were nominated. You've got Brody Kaufman, number 60 at right tackle. Right guard, Caius Mattoon, number 55. Left guard, number 63, Ivan Pozlowski. And left tackle, number 75, Talon Engasser. Those guys were all Trench Trophy nominees throughout the year. Jack O'Brien, the center, number 76, has not been nominated yet, but I'm sure there's a couple of Trench Trophy guys out there today who will have their eye on him. Also starting for McKinley on the offensive side of the ball, their quarterback, number 7, senior Nathan Arnold. Wide receivers are Charlie Lorenz and Eric Aguilera. Harper McKenzie is in a slot. The running back is Ryan Premilewski. Tight end, Jace Binkerhoff. That is the starting offense for the Clarence Red Devils. And as I mentioned earlier, Chris Dixon, his first year officially as the head coach here at Clarence. Now, he's been a coach in Clarence for the last few years with Paul Bergio before his retirement. He also coaches the offense. Jake Huber is Dixon is the defensive coordinator. Jake Huber is the offensive coordinator, and Bo Idziorek is the defensive line and running backs coach and also helps out on special teams. Brian Davis, his staff at McKinley. Joining him on his staff this year is Nate Burnett, the defensive coordinator. Brian calls the offense. His assistant coaches are Henry Fumarelli, Martin Bailey, Scott Orndorff, D'Angelo Walker, Jamar Rutledge, and Rich Sanders. Now, interesting, Tom, when your son, Zachary, your oldest, was playing at Highmark Stadium for Orchard Park, he played the Kenmore West team that was quarterbacked that day by D'Angelo Walker, and Martin Bailey was on that team as well.
Zachary actually had a big game that game with a sack and a turnover that really changed the whole dynamics of the game, something I know he'll always remember. But before it sounds like we're going to go to the national anthem right here, but got a great point to make when we come back.
Excellent. We warned about live singing of the national anthem today. It'll just be a pre-recorded version. Okay, we are ready for, just about ready for kickoff here at All High Stadium, legendary All High Stadium in town before the National Anthem. You were about to share a story.
Well, I'm actually going to point us out right here because you know it's right now. It's playoff time when you see us in suits. And I'll tell you, I don't get many compliments going out of the field, but I got a lot of compliments wearing the suit. We're no Mario Hall wearing the gold shoes when it comes to basketball, but I'll tell you, I think we look pretty good to get things started right here.
I'll tell you what, you're wearing this lanyard here representing a team that is nowhere near the World Series, I may add.
But I think they knocked somebody out of the playoffs to get to the point they did.
Possibly, probably. So the Clarence Red Devils, superintendent there is Dr. Matt Fromm. The athletic director is Jason Lembeck. Principal Kenneth Smith. Their athletic trainer today is Michaela McCartney. Superintendent of the Buffalo Public Schools is Dr. Pascal Mobanga, new to the Western New York area. Athletic director Aubrey Lloyd. Principal at McKinley High School is Terrence Jenkins, and their athletic trainer today is Marie Matthews. The public address announcer for today's game is Mr. Zaire Dorsey, and working the score clock today, the big scoreboard out there is Miss Christine Piscopo, who is also, I believe she's at Riverside High School during the day, but she's working the score clock today, and she did not bring us any treats, Tom.
And Coach Dorsey, head basketball coach at McKinley as well.
We mentioned McKinley led by Taylor Ford, their senior quarterback there. 19 rushes for 1,142 yards. One of the top rushing quarterbacks in Western New York. Moore the third, the other running back, has 90 touches for 968 yards. Should eclipse that 1,000-yard mark today. We'll have to wait and see if he can do that. I suspect he will. Ford is 7th in Section 6 in rushing. Moore is 13th. Averaging 10.8 yards per carry. His longest was 66 yards.
Okay, we've done a lot of games together, right, Frank? I want you to take a look at the captain row out there. When have you seen the entire captain row be an offensive line? You haven't seen that many times.
At least a quarterback out there, or
that's
a linebacker.
That's what we talked about. That's the strength of Clarence right there that's going to bring to the table, is going to be that offensive line. And that doesn't mean McKinley doesn't have an offensive line, folks, because they do as well.
Their offensive line, left tackle Anthony Johnson, number 51. Left guard Jameer Hill, number 52. David Graves is the center, wears 56. Antonio Gonzalez is number 54. He's at the right guard position. And the right tackle is Sammy Starks, number 58. Biggest guy in that line is Jameer Hemphill, 6'1", 355. And Hemphill also is the nose tackle for this McKinley Max defense. Interesting point about the McKinley Max defense. I had a note here for us. Sacks. Minter for McKinley. 19 sacks, that's number 1 in Western New York, Section 6. Number 2, Jameer Hill with 12.5 sacks, number 2. And their defensive teammate, Mr. Tayshawn Henley, wears number 55. He's got 8.5 sacks for number 6 in Western New York.
But Hill's the one I want to point out because he's the guy that's going to play both ways on that line, and he's the one, you already listed his stats. He's getting those sacks from the D tackle position. You're lucky you hear usually about 30 tackles on the season for somebody that's at that D tackle spot. He not only has the tackles, he's got the sacks, and he's doing it as if he's a linebacker or a D end.
McKinley is going to kick off to Clarence, so the Red Devil offense will have the first crack at the offense, and we'll have to see how that senior quarterback Nathan Arnold leads the Max today. If they can find their offense today, and I don't know, I got to see who's kicking for McKinley. We have our rosters here, but as you know, they do change from time to time.
Looks like it's number 10, Jesse Baldwin, who just went out there.
A senior, also is a wide out, tight end, defensive end. He's 6'3", 190. Kick is away, and Clarence comes away with it. And they surround him at about the 38-yard line is where the Clarence Red Devil offense will start their playoff pursuit for a Section 6 championship. They won it back in 2023. Again, the starters on offense for Clarence, number 60, right tackle Brody Kaufman. Caius Batoon wears 55 at the right guard's position. Their center is 76, Jack O'Brien. Left guard, Ivan Pozlowski. And on the left tackle is Talon Engasser. Starting defense for McKinley Max, the front line, defensive end Jameer Hill wears number 6. Tayshawn Henley, number 55. Jameer Hemphel's 52. And Cameron Minter is number 8. And we'll have to see if that McKinley Max defense can go to work quickly against this Clarence offensive line. And right off the bat, Arnold, the quarterback, puts it on the turf, carried it to about the 50. The ball came loose, and it looks like McKinley has recovered that. Nazir Liggins, a secondary player, comes up big, recovers that fumble, and McKinley is going to take over at about the 50-yard line. Replay coming up on your screen at home.
Watch this. Watch him go right up the gut. He goes right up the gut, breaks it to the outside, and that's a big hit right there. I think that was I think it was Anthony Moore right there on the hit. It looked like it was number 3 on the hit right there. What a great hit as you see him knock the ball out.
Anthony Moore, the third, came over from Kenmore East High School this summer.
We got a first score update already. Are you ready for this?
No.
Medina takes a 7-0 lead over Southwestern Frewsburg early in this one. It was the first play of the game. They went down for a touchdown.
Well, that team's awfully upset right now, having to play without Christian Moss, who's been their leader the last few years there. So this Clarence defense is led by number 63, Ivan Pozlowski. The nose tackle is Matt Mandich, and the other defensive end is number 1, Andrew Judd. Ford hands it off to Moore. He's met at the line of scrimmage, bounces away, and gets through the 50 down to about the 44-yard line. Let's see where they spot this one. So McKinley starts off with a running play to get things going. Linebackers for Clarence are Jared Redford, wears number 40. Matt Majewski wears 11. And Trevor Mueller is number 34. 2nd and 1 for the Max. Ford keeps it himself, bounces to the left. He's got running room, gets to the outside, and finally brought down at about the 30 by number 9 for Clarence. That's Nick Kenzie.
That's a great job. You could see him break that one out. All the momentum was coming towards our side of the field, or the Clarence sideline, breaks it the other way, and he really found some open space and used his speed to get those extra yards and an automatic first down right there for them.
One of the big question marks for the Clarence defense was, do they have someone that can keep up with Kalon Ford or Anthony Moore if they get out to the outside? Here's Moore taking it to the left again. He finds some running room down the sideline, inches his way towards the goal line, stopped at about the 4. Another first down for McKinley. The clock stops at 10:33. First quarter action here at All High Stadium. This is the Section 6 Class A quarterfinal between McKinley and Clarence. And the Max offense didn't go right to work. They had to start on defense, but they got that fumble recovery, and here they are trying to work their way towards the end zone. Handoff to Moore, doesn't go too far. Clarence defense steps up on that one. They went right to the nose tackle.
Yeah, that was Caius Mattoon on the stop right there. Comes up big. We've talked about him for a couple years. Big difference. That's the first run that didn't break out to the left side right there. They tried going up the middle. Let's see if they take this back to the left side of the line right here.
Ford takes it to the left, gets away from one, bounces to the outside, touchdown McKinley. 9:56 on the scoreboard, 6-0. McKinley leads Clarence here at All High Stadium.
But again, it's right to the left side again. What we've been talking about, they've seen something on that left side of the line, and that's what they seem to be attacking. That was even a broken play, as you saw it comes down to the turf. Ford stays calm, picks it up, and then really almost walks it right into the touchdown.
McKinley will not kick. They are going to go for 2 here, trying to increase that lead. 8-0 here with under 10 to go in quarter number 1. Here's the handoff right up the middle. Goes number 6 for McKinley. That's Jameer Hill, the fullback. And it's 8-0 here, McKinley. 8-0 McKinley. Leading Clarence here in the Class A quarterfinal. some of the other matchups around Class A happening this weekend. Tom, do you have them?
No, there's already a response by Southwestern.
Oh, well, that's not surprising. So last year, Sweet Home knocked off McKinley at the stadium. They had to get through Clarence to get to Sweet Home. The year before, it was Clarence that knocked off Sweet Home. That's really the only team that these two guys have played during the year or the last couple of years to really gauge, who they were. But so many players have moved on.
Oh, yeah.
In
fact, I was down on the field before the game. Carl Jones was on there for McKinley as part of the coaching staff, and he was out. This was a young man. We were just talking about him out on the field.
So McKinley will be kicking off for the second time this evening with an 8-0 lead here. You got a good crowd here for a Thursday night.
And a rainy Thursday night even.
Yeah, I don't think it's not raining just yet. It rained earlier. It's definitely a little weight out there, but I don't think it's raining right now.
No, when I walked out, when I came in from the car, it was raining.
Ball's fielded at the 25, ran all the way up to about midfield. Still on his feet, took a gang of tacklers from McKinley to bring that guy down. I believe that was Charlie Lorenz for Clarence.
Actually, I think it was number 22 is who it was.
Promilewski. So the Clarence offense goes back to work. Now, Nathan Arnold hasn't thrown a lot of passes this year, Tom. He's done a lot more damage with his legs in that running game, and I got to believe Clarence is going to want to establish a run early to keep Kalen Flord in that high-flying McKinley Max offense on the sideline. Big hit! Big number 55 for McKinley. Gets through that offensive line. That's to Sean Henley with a tackle for loss.
We talked a little bit about Nathan Arnold, but he's listed as 6'3", 195. I was down on the field next to him. That young man looks a lot bigger than 6'3", 195. I will tell you that. And not only that, he is a senior, but he's got the build, and that's the reason why he's acting almost as a runner. He reminds you, as far as his body and the way he can run the ball, a little bit like Capon over at Newfane. Big body like that, and you use him also as a runner and a running back at that quarterback position.
Arnold runs up the gut, gets almost to the line of scrimmage, not quite there, and that's another tackle for loss for the McKinley Max. That was number 6. I believe that was Jameer Hill on the stop. We'll go around that McKinley defense again. The line up front is Jameer Hill, Tayshawn Henley, Jameer Hempel, and Cameron Minter. The linebackers are Kylan Williams, Antonio Brodus, Avery Stone. And then the secondary, Cardell Staples, number 2, Nasir Liggins, who had the fumble recovery, and Marcus Daniels. Arnold in the shotgun. Had a man in motion. Gets the pass off. Incomplete, hits the turf. And this McKinley Max defense, they are energetic, quick to the ball, and it's going to be a 3-and-out for the Clarence Red Devils offense.
That was Avery Stone on the stop there for McKinley, and I don't know if you realize that was going to be right there. They were setting up the screen for that one. He read that beautifully, that screen play, and made sure it wasn't going to go anywhere, even if he caught the ball. I thought that was a great read right there by Stone to be able to make sure that was going to be an incomplete pass and not something that could turn into a big play, especially when your defense has been as aggressive as it's been.
Julian Manzaroli is the punter for Clarence. A little banged up last week. Wasn't even sure if he was going to be able to go today. He gets that kickoff, and it's a good one. Down to Staples, and he lets that fall out of bounds. And McKinley will take this over at about their 22-23-yard line. Referee for today's game is Mike Binkowski. He's been working these games for almost as long as I've been alive, Tom. Joe Argentieri is the umpire linesman. Paul Gugino, line judge Tony Scanzuzzo, and the back judge is Josh Huber. So McKinley went right down the field on their first possession. No passes, 6 runs, and a rushing touchdown by Kalon Ford. 2-point was converted by I've lost his number again. Number 6, Jameer Hill. So Ford in the backfield with Moore. Hand off to Moore, bounces left. They meet him at the line of scrimmage, may have picked up a yard or two. In on the stop, among those in on the stop, I should say, was number 22, Promilewski.
Good job. That's an adjustment by Clarence. That's the first time to the left side they make a stop right there. So that's an adjustment by Clarence, adjusting to the McKinley run game right now.
Moore picks up 3 yards. It'll be 2nd and 7. Time winding down here in quarter one from All High Stadium. Ford in shotgun. Fires up a pass. He's got Staples along the sideline. Almost intercepted, but Staples comes down with it, hauls it in, and then he trips over a couple of players at about the 40-yard line. Staples with the catch. Almost intercepted.
Watch this, though. He goes up, and how he even comes down with that, I can't believe it. It looked like it was a ball that went up there. It was James Johnson that was fighting for him the ball, but again, Staples shows why he's one of the top receivers in the area. And you can see real quick, Ford's going to keep this. He's going to try to bounce it out to the outside. He's got nowhere to go as 4 Clarence members literally walk him right out to the sideline.
Yeah, so they figured something out there, at least for the moment, on this drive anyways. From a running perspective, the Clarence rushing defense has stepped up a little bit here. And 2 running plays didn't go for much, 3 yards. And did he lose a couple there, Tom?
Yeah, he lost 2 yards
3
on
yards
that one,
there.
yeah. 2 quick scoring updates. Southwestern Frewsburg has answered. It's Medina 7, Southwestern Frewsburg 6. Eden leads Portville 6-0 with 6:46 in the first quarter.
Under 7 minutes to play here. McKinley leads Clarence 8-0 here at All High Stadium. This is the quarterfinals in the Class A division. Ford back to pass, looking, steps up in the pocket. Now he takes off. There's a spy on him, but he gets to the line of scrimmage. Then he's met by 21 of Clarence. A nice open field tackle there by Patrick Moore to bring Ford down as he was looking deep for Staples.
But did you see how he stepped up beautifully in that pocket? That pocket collapsed around him. He keeps his poise, steps up in it beautifully, and that's when he realized he doesn't have a throw, so instead he takes off and uses his legs and gets a great gain right there and makes this a more manageable 3rd down.
Ford once again in shotgun, looks over at the sideline for the play, looks back. There's a whistle on the play. A couple of flags come flying. Have to see what the call is there.
I think this is going to be some sort of offsides, meaning a false start, sorry.
It'll be a false start on McKinley. That's going to back them up 5 yards. Ford's top receivers for McKinley are Cardell Staples. 23 catches for 657 yards. He does have 9 touchdowns on the season. Fryer's another one, 10 catches for 315. Daniels 10 for 130. And then there's Liggins, 6 catches for 148 yards. So he's got some weapons. Got 13 passing touchdowns on the season, 11 rushing. Ford looking to his right, steps up in the pocket, has time, finds a man over the middle, but right through this into the secondary, and Clarence almost picked that one off.
If it had just a little bit more air underneath it, it would have been picked off. So now they're going to get an opportunity to make sure that not a turnover. And I'll tell you, this is that weird area right here where many teams go for this. It looks like they're going to punt it away to try to pin Clarence down right now. But this is an area that we see teams go for it over and over and over again, whether it's 4th down or not.
It's 4th and 13. I wouldn't be surprised if he runs this. No, he doesn't. Staples gets the punt off. That's a good punt. It's going to go into the end zone. Now there's a flag on the play. McKinley has their arms up. We can see what the call is here.
I'll tell you, that ball came out quick.
He pointed to both sides.
I agree.
So maybe there's offsetting penalties here. I'll have to wait and see. There's no mic on the official, so we're not going to be able to hear the official call. Anybody know sign language? It was a bad snap. So it's a 15-yard personal foul against the McKinley Max. Clarence is going to take over at the 35-yard line. Their 35. And this is their third drive. First drive, they punted. I'm sorry, they fumbled. Second drive, they punted. Arnold in shotgun. Design run again, but he's wrapped up in the backfield. McKinley was all over that one. Cameron Minter, who leads Section 6 in the sack department. It's a loss of about 3 yards, so it should be 2nd and 13 with 5:10 on the clock here in the first quarter. McKinley went right down the field on their first possession and scored. Lead 8-0 here. This is their Clarence's third possession.
I'll tell you, I think Clarence will never get rid of this double wing. They'll never get rid of this. It'll always be a part of their offense. It's something they're known for. You can see as they go to it right here.
Promilewski with the handoff. He's met in the backfield. Got to the line of scrimmage. So it should be 3rd and 12. Just shy of the line of scrimmage, I believe. 3rd and 12, 3rd and 11. We'll have to see where the spot is on that. Now, if you've never been to All High, the press box is at least 75 yards from the center of the field, so very tough to see numbers this high up. I don't know how you guys do it, Tom. You and Joe Kraus and the rest of the guys. Stu Boyer. I should have brought some binoculars.
Stu uses his binoculars, I'll tell you that. So Joe's just still young and still has great eyes.
He's got glasses.
Well, I'm trying to be nice.
Arnold comes to the sideline. We've got a timeout for Clarence. Why don't we step away? You're watching live coverage of the Section 6 quarterfinal Class A playoff game between McKinley and Clarence on the NFHS Network. Welcome back to All High Stadium. Section 6 football action. Playoffs. Class A1 McKinley and Clarence. The Macs have an 8-0 lead. Red Devils looking at 3rd and 10 from their 35. Handoff to Promilewski. Met at the line of scrimmage. Still on his feet. Driven backwards. And the Macs stop him once again. So it'll be 4th and 12. And Clarence will have to punt for the second time this quarter.
Boy, I'll tell you, the way this game started off for Clarence, the first run for Arnold, I understand that he coughed it up at the very end, but you thought, boy, they're going to be able to move the ball the way he ran that first play and the ball comes out. If he goes down, that was going to be a first down, and they were just on the outskirts of going into McKinley territory. They've got to figure out a way right now to get behind this line so that they can get that run game and to be able to make those effective runs that they haven't seen since that first run of the game. Boy, the third snap that we've seen go short right there.
That punt rolls all the way down to about the 24-yard line for McKinley. So they'll have about a 76 yards to go to get to the end zone. And one of the big question marks, Tom, I might have alluded to this earlier, was does Clarence have the secondary to keep up with the Kalon Fords, the Staples, and the Anthony Moore the thirds if they get out into open space? Do they have anyone that can track them down? We'll have to wait and see. So far, that first drive at least.
They matched it. It was just Staples comes down with an incredible play. There was 2 defenders right there with him. So we've seen them actually go out there and do that.
Yep.
But remember, one of the things we do know about the Clarence team is their specialty players. They've got a lot of young youth players out there. The strength comes from the senior leadership on the line, which is why that prior to the game we saw 4 seniors walk out there to be able to do the coin flip.
McKinley Max begin their 3rd drive of the evening. Ford with the handoff to Moore, breaks it to the left, gets through the line of scrimmage, has a first down, and Moore gets to about the 45-yard line, out of bounds. 2:59 on the clock, and a big first down rush there for Anthony Moore III.
But a great job, again, to the left side. That's where they've seen all their success so far early in this game, and they are attacking right now that left side. Now to see if they keep doing it, or remember on the last set of plays, we did see Clarence make the adjustment to the left side. They're going to need to make that adjustment again.
1st and 10 for the Max. Ford keeps this one, runs up the middle, met by the defense there, number 1, Andrew Judd. Ford probably picks up 2 there, Tom. We'll have to see where the spot is. But they snuffed that one out. McKinley Max, only one blemish on the schedule, Tom, and that was that health sciences game. I talked to head coach Brian Davis before that, and we kind of talked a little about that game. It might have been the one game that McKinley just overthought things. Yeah. They were probably just a little too ambitious to get out there, came out flat-footed, just psyched themselves out, I think. A big game, and they didn't look great, but they'll have another shot at him, they hope, if they can get through Clarence here. Ford with the keeper, gets around to the right-hand side, jerks back to the left, bounces back, still on his feet, hasn't been tackled yet, headed to the end zone, a flag comes down, Ford walking to the end zone, and he's in.
So we're going to get a second flag late as well. So we've got 2 flags. Wonder one, you're going to see the Clarence player down on the field. You wonder if that's a blindside block right there that happens. You got a second flag that comes in late. There's no doubt that this is going to come back. But I got to still talk about this run because Ford looked like it was a video game out there, the way he was moving from left to right. And he'd go back, everything. There were so many positives on that play right there that absolutely showed his athletic ability and what he's capable of doing there on the football field.
Tom, that's Nick Kenzie that's down for Clarence, and that's not good.
He's already up.
Well, he's shaken up on that one, but he's one of their top defensive players. He's like having another coach out there, and I don't know his exact relation to Mark Kenzie, who just recently went into the Clarence Hall of Fame. He was an assistant coach for the Red Devils for over 2 decades. He was on 3 sectional championship teams. There's got to be a relation there somehow, some way. We'll have to do some homework at halftime. And those penalties look like they are on McKinley.
Yep.
Do we have a replay of that? Why don't we play that real quick? That's an exciting run. You pick it up kind of towards the end. But good blocking downfield by Staples. But the penalties that PS5 Nintendo-esque run.
That's exactly what it looked like. We got a quick scoring update. It comes from that Portville-Eden game. Portville has now taken the lead over Eden 7-6 in the first quarter.
And I wonder how much time they took off the clock there, because for Portville, one way to have a shot at beating Eden, they had to keep Brady Waring on the sideline. Kalon Ford, it's 2nd and 1 here. After just a massive run taken away by a couple of penalties. They got that 8-0 lead. They hand it off. This time the handoff was to number 5, Kylan Williams, and he gets all the way down to the 30-yard line. Big first down again for this McKinley Max rushing offense.
Boy, and again to the left side, it seems to be automatic, and you're seeing them run parallel right to the line of scrimmage, and then the minute that opening happens, they're tearing it right down the sideline and up the field for first down after first down after first down.
McKinley now in Clarence territory. Another pitch out to Minner. He breaks it to the right, breaks one tackle, still on his feet, finally shoved out of bounds by number 21. That's Patrick Moore. Still have not. And Nick Kenzie does come back to the field, Tom, so he's back out there for this Red Devils defense, and that's a good sign. Clock stops at 1:30. It's 2nd and 1 now for McKinley. Minter still is in the backfield for this McKinley offense. I'm sorry, Kylan Williams. Ford runs to the left, flag on the play. He's all the way down to the goal line, into the end zone. Nope, they mark him just short, but there is a flag on the play. We'll have to wait and see what this call is. Looks like it's holding on McKinley is going to be the call. So we will have 2nd and 11 or 2nd and 6. Is that a 5-yard penalty, Tom? I believe it is. So McKinley with a couple of big penalties on this drive is the only thing that's gone wrong for them.
Yeah, that really is the only thing. And you're talking about it in this drive alone. They've literally taken back points off the board multiple times here.
Now the McKinley Max, just like Bennett, they play on the opposite side of the bleachers when they play home games here. So it's Clarence on the press box side, the bleacher side. Clarence in their beautiful white tops with red bottoms, and McKinley in their famous black jerseys with orange and white stripes. They look good. 1st and 20. Ford sends it out to Williams. He picks up about 7 yards or so. Trying to get to the line of scrimmage. He got at least 9 on that play. So that'll bring up 2nd and 11. And that may take us to the end of the first quarter. Maybe not.
Connor doused there on the stop for Clarence.
McKinley's lining up. 28, clock ticking down here. They're going to get one more play off here. Ford goes to his right. Breaks one tackle. Now he goes up the middle. Still on his feet. Met by big number 60 for Clarence. You get a number on that guy? He's bigger than anybody in this press box, I can tell you that. That was Brody Kaufman. 6'5", 285. 14 and a half seconds to go here in the first quarter. Clarence leads 8-0. Don't tell me there was another flag on that play, Tom. No. So another penalty here for McKinley, and they're going to run this one down. And the first quarter will come to an end here with McKinley leading Clarence 8-0. It's been the Kayla Ford show so far.
We can go right now. Let's show everybody the out-of-town.
For you at home. It's presented by Western Division. We'll get that scoreboard fixed for you, and maybe we'll have it for you before we come to the second quarter. You're watching Section 6 High School Football here on the NFHS Network.
This high school gym used to be packed most nights. Not anymore. Do you know why? Because bad behavior by fans, especially adults, has caused a shortage of game officials across the country. You see, without officials, we can't have sports. Don't let this become reality. It's time for a change. Let's bench bad behavior for good.
This is heart. This is pride. This is community. This is high school football.
Welcome back to All High Stadium. McKinley looking at 2nd and 25 now. Start of the second quarter. Handoff to Moore. He breaks to the left-hand side, and he's met by Paluski there. Premaluski. I'm going to butcher that poor kid's name for the rest of the game. I hope I don't, but he read that out perfectly, and that's the first time they got Moore behind the line of scrimmage.
Yeah. Premaluski right there. What a great job. That's a play that Clarence has been waiting for. And if you look at, they keep going backwards here. They've got to stop this run if they're going to stay in the game.
Certainly. Premaluski on the season has 23 tackles, 6 for loss. He's got 2 interceptions.
And I don't know if you look up, the rain is starting to come down here right now, Frank, as well. You could see it up in the lights.
3rd and 27. Ford looking for a man downfield. Bounces up. They got him pinned in there. Finally lets one go. I believe that's Staples on the far side. Still on his feet, looking for room. Gets out of bounds. No, he doesn't. He does not get out of bounds, Tom. So that'll bring up 4th down and about 12, 4th and 13. I think this is an area of the field you go for it. McKinley does not have a kicker, so they can't attempt a field goal here. They've got to go for it.
Yeah, no, you're at a point in this field. You don't have a choice. You're not really going to kick just to gain 10 yards is all that you're going to do. You're absolutely going to go for that.
I meant going for the field goal. They can't go for a field goal.
I'm sorry, yeah. But I'll tell you, great job by Staples to come back to the ball to help his quarterback. He gets the opening so his quarterback can turn and make sure he gets that open man right along the sideline.
Ford back to pass, looking, bounces to his left, now to his right. Telling Staples to get back over here. He's got him. He's got someone that went out of bounds.
I don't think he got the first down, though, Frank. I think he went out of bounds before got the first down.
Well, we're waiting to see what the official call is on the field. McKinley thinks he got a first down. I don't know if he got there, Tom. No, he didn't. The official is pointing in the Clarence direction for a turnover on downs. I believe that was Fryer with the catch. So that just ends in a turnover on downs. And really, Tom, McKinley just shot themselves in the foot time and again with the penalties.
Yeah, and again, if he doesn't back himself down right there, that is exactly what you need to make sure. You got to turn around to know where the marker is on that sideline to get that first down.
Arnold met at the line of scrimmage as Premaluski met at the line of scrimmage. So McKinley, that defense has been very stingy early in this game. Here in the second quarter, the Macs scored on their first possession and went right down the field. And Clarence fumbled in their opening possession. And since then, they have punted twice in a row. Arnold in the shotgun formation. Premaluski to his right. Premaluski bounces out. Design run. And he's brought down behind the line of scrimmage as McKinley was in the backfield very quickly. That was Jameer Hill getting through the offensive line and getting the tackle for a loss there. 3rd and 9 now for Clarence. They really struggled to move the ball against the Bennett Tigers in their meeting earlier this year. They're having a hard time moving the ball early in this one against this McKinley Max defense. Now there's Arnold going deep. He has a man. Little tight coverage at the end, and a flag comes out. He threw that one up there to Aguilera, who had some separation. It just hung up there a little bit too long, Tom, but he had him open.
Yeah, and again, slick out there. You could still see it's going to get slick the rest of this game. That is tough to throw a long ball in this rain like the way it is. But, boy, that was a great throw. It still almost comes up with a big play. You will get a first down because the yardage is going to get you the first down right here. And, unfortunately, it's not an automatic first down here in Section 6 or New York State high school football.
Just a few weeks ago at Riverside High School, the Williamsville East and McKinley had a great game, but it was that hard rain. Real hard rain. This is more of a mist.
Yeah, well, it's
coming down here.
You can see, though, it's starting to pick up in those lights. And we do got some score updates that we're going to be able to give everybody here shortly. While we got a second, it's Eden, North Collins 14, Portville 14 in the second quarter with 10:05 left. Southwestern Frewsburg up 20-7 over Medina.
That penalty results in a 1st and 10. Arnold keeps it, picks up maybe a yard and a half before he's brought down by Cameron Minter, number 8. 6'3", 205, leads the section in sacks with 19. They're calling Brodus' number for that tackle.
And McKinley just had a player go down right at the line. Literally
He's
just
still
went
down.
He went down just a second ago. So, Frank, while it's there, we actually got, looks like the scoreboard up and running. Let's go take a look.
Class AA matchup there, their quarterfinals. Bennett, of course, gets the bye. And whoever wins that Lancaster-Niagara Falls game will have to travel here to All-High Stadium next week to play the Bennett Tigers.
And again, another tall task. As you know, Bennett right now is on a mission, especially staying undefeated here in Western New York. They're on a mission to go after what their goals are. First get the conference title, then go a sectional title, and then go after a state title.
Arnold in shotgun. And there's some movement on the line, and it looks like that's going to be against Clarence, a false start. So that'll back them up 5 yards. You'll be looking at 2nd and 13. 2nd and 15. 2nd and 13 for the Red Devils. They're backed up to their, what are they, on their 20, Tom? Look like they're on their 20-yard line, so they'll dial up another play here. Arnold, 6'3", 195, the senior. Looking to throw. Lofts one up again. He's got a man at the 50. Still on his feet. Staples is there. Can't bring him down. That was a great throw and an even better catch by number 9 for Clarence.
That was Nick Kenzie right there. Did you see him in motion? He was the one that was in motion going back and forth right there. He goes in and takes off right there for that first down. It was almost looked like when he took off down the line, he was uncovered.
And the biggest play from scrimmage of the game so far for Clarence was that nice throw by Arnold to Kenzie. And they may have found a weakness in the McKinley defense. Arnold again. Now they'll hand it off to Premilewski, who gets through the line of scrimmage, picks up about 4.5 yards there. And the Clarence Red Devil offense is starting to move the football.
And you can say to this point in the game, Frank, that McKinley has really owned right now the offense and really owned everything that's been happening out on the field. So to say if Clarence can come down and put points on the board and either be down by a point or make it even or even 2 points, you got to say that's a huge win for the Clarence Red Devils right now.
Kenzie in motion. Lines up in the slot. Back to pass. Premilewski had it and dropped it with room in front of him to go.
I got it. Could it be a little bit of rain? Could it be you saw the defender coming up on you? There were so many things that could happen on that play right there, but you know he wants that one back because he had an opportunity right there to get a first down. They should get 2 shots at this, though, Frank. I really think, though, you're going to get 2 shots at it. But I will tell you, I was watching their kicker kick 50-yard field goals during warm-ups right here. This kid's got a leg. They can go for a field goal if they need to.
3rd and 6 for Clarence. 6:50 on the clock. Trailing McKinley 8-0. Arnold in shotgun. Has it. Runs up the middle. Has it up for the first down. Gets into the secondary. Moore brings him down. First down, Clarence.
That looked like the first run of the game right there for Clarence, where you saw Arnold do that exact same thing. This time he holds on to the ball, gives his team a first down and a chance to try to put points on the board.
Arnold had 54 carries for 254 yards in the regular season, 4.7 yards per carry. Longest run of the year was for 24 yards. He does have 4 rushing touchdowns.
can see the rain on the screen now. You're starting to see it being effective out on the screen that you could see it.
Arnold, another design run up the middle, but McKinley was waiting for him, and they brought him down. That was Jameer Hill, made the first contact for McKinley. Under 6 to play here in the second quarter. And you really got to give McKinley some props here. Clarence some props for the way they've been able to move the ball here on this particular drive. Their 4th drive of the game, a timeout's on the field, 5:53 to play. We'll take a quick commercial break. We'll be back in 30 seconds. You're watching on the NFHS Network.
Our number one priority is protecting our players. That's why we're writing new rules for the sport and developing innovative educational tools that protect our athletes. This is player protection. This is high school football.
You have no business being out there.
You know, I'm a person too.
Back here at All High Stadium, Clarence Red Devils, the offense, finally moving the ball against this very tough, stingy McKinley Mac defense. Premilewski bounces to the outside, heading towards the end zone. Does he get in? Waiting for a signal, and it's in. Clarence gets a touchdown on this McKinley Mac defense. It's 8-6 McKinley here in the second quarter. Premilewski with a nice pitch and run.
And here's that replay right here. You can see it looked like what McKinley's been successful doing for the entire first half, where they cut right to the outside and get that not only first down, but runs it right in for the touchdown. That's a big scoring update. We got ourselves a game right here as we're already halfway through the second quarter.
Mazzarulli for the extra point attempt. Kick is up right through the uprights, so it's an 8-7 football game with 5:46 on the clock here in the second quarter. And they weren't even sure if Mazzarulli was going to be able to go today for Clarence, but here he is kicking off. Now with the extra point. We've seen him punting so far. Clarence with some confidence now. Again, they really struggled to move the ball against Bennett. Another very tough team to play against from a defensive standpoint. Very stingy, tough up front. And McKinley's built the same way. And Clarence, the first 3 possessions, they had the fumble, back-to-back punts. What they did, though, on this last drive, the key play was that throw from Arnold to Kenzie, who left the game a series before, comes back, makes a big play, and now Clarence is right in this game, 8-7.
Boy, I tell you, we said it. For the first quarter and a half, it's been all McKinley. Clarence holds serve, and they hold serve just long enough to be able to answer. Now think about how important it was on the other end of the field where you saw that reception right in front of the first down marker and an opportunity not only get a first down but possibly get more points, and they didn't get that first down. That's something that hurt them right there.
That's Staples back to receive the kick for McKinley. And his tag team partner out there, it could be Anthony Moore. Again, can't really read the numbers too well from this position, but that's because I'm old. Mazzarulli to kick. It's kind of a squibbish job, and that's going to roll all the way down towards the end zone. It's fielded by number 5, Kyron Williams, and he rushes up the sideline, bounces out of bounds. And McKinley will take over at about the 40-some-odd yard line.
Well, I'll tell you, you got to give them credit for even that positive run. That looked like it could have been a very negative play, and Williams does a great job of turning that into positive ground and a positive starting point for McKinley.
I keep calling him Kyron Williams. Oh. It's Kylan. One day I'm sure he'd love to replace Kyron Williams in the NFL, but he's not there no just doubt. Yet. That was a dangerous play, Tom. You got to have a lot of confidence in yourself to be able to pick a ball that's bouncing inside your 5, knowing the pursuit's coming for you. But he did a great job of recognizing the time and space he had.
And the rain. And the rain to be able to do that.
Rushed by Moore up the middle, goes for not much, if anything. Might have got to the line of scrimmage. Potentially lost a yard on that play.
If you think about it, we've had 2 punts by McKinley that were bounced to the kicker that they were able to still kick off without a problem. You saw that play saved by Williams right there, and it wasn't a problem. We've seen Clarence do the same exact thing on a punt for themselves. There's been a lot of plays, and we've seen a quarterback exchange where you saw him still run it in forward for a touchdown. I can't believe the composure we've seen by both of these teams.
Inside 5 minutes, quarter 2 here at All-High Stadium. Clarence just pulled within 1 point, trailing McKinley 8-7. The Macs have the ball. This is their 4th possession of the afternoon. Ford has it, dancing back and forth, and they got him wrapped up behind the line of scrimmage. It'll be a tackle for loss by the Clarence defense. Redford gets in there to bring down Ford. So Chris Dixon, the head coach, also the defensive coordinator for Clarence, has found something. He changed up something there, Tom, and Clarence is looking pretty good here.
But what does the first score do? It does that exhale. We're okay. We can do this. We're in this game, and it gives you a different perspective when you come out there on the defensive side of the ball.
McKinley looking at 3rd and 11. Just about 4 minutes left to play here in the first half. Ford takes the snap. Now he's on the run up the middle. Gets through a few into the secondary. Still on his feet. Cross midfield. Finally brought down by the Clarence Red Devil defense. That was number 86 on the tackle. Matt Mandish, the nose tackle, had to go down 30 yards of field to bring down the fastest kid in the stadium in Kalon Ford, arguably.
But I've been so impressed, not how fast he is, but really how he moves left to right. And he does it almost stopping on a dime, the way he bounces left and right to avoid any tackler.
Well, he's got the genes. He's related to James Mallory, who was a Connolly Cup finalist, and Terrell Ford as well. There's more, bouncing to the outside. Still with the ball in his hands. Picks up about a yard and a half, and finally pushed out of bounds, I should say, by the Red Devil defense.
And we will get a chance to go to the out-of-town scoreboard here in a little bit, but we do have another score. Eden North Collins again takes the lead over Portville. It's 22-14 with 9:58 left in the second quarter. They're doing a little bit about what you talked about. Look at how quick, fast, and furious the scoring happens in this game. And there's your scoreboard right there with the refresh. So sorry, we just needed to refresh the scoreboard for you.
Southwestern still at that 20-7 lead over Medina after being down 7-0.
Newfane added on 27-0 over Allegheny Limestone as well.
That's not surprising. Allegheny Limestone's first year back in 11-man football, and Newfane has just been the cream of the crop in Class D. Timeouts taken by the McKinley Macs. We're going to stay right here, Tom. I know we had the scores up there. Maybe we can bring them up one more time and just take a look at some of these other contests that are coming up, specifically in Class A, that has implications for the winner of tonight's game. Now, we got Williamsville North and Grand Island playing tomorrow. That's a 1-8 matchup, Tom. Grand Island finishing 4th in Class A2, I would imagine, then Will North in A1. Kenmore West draws Health Sciences. Somehow they're the 2 seed. With scoring the most points in Western New York in Section 6. And then
well,
West
they're
Seneca
not
West
two, it's not 2 because they go 1-1
Correct.
is what they are.
Correct.
But I'll tell you, what McKinley right now is watching this Clarence McKinley game is they'll take on the winner of the Will North Grand Island game. So that's why that's so important to them to understand what's going on, to see who they're going to play possibly. Or there's got to be people right now watching this if you're from Grand Island or Will North just to see who could we possibly play with a victory.
Ford takes the snap, pitches it out to Cardell Staples. He gets to the outside, down the sideline, picks up about 10, 12 yards there with a nice run before he's finally forced out of bounds. So McKinley, after a couple of not so strong possessions, killing themselves with penalties, finally have the ball moving in the right direction and not taking penalties. They lead Clarence 8-7. Red Devils just scored on their last possession. Ford takes the snap, runs out to his right, tries to get past the line of scrimmage, met by a handful of Clarence Red Devils defenders, and brought down, may have picked up a yard and a half. They spot the ball at the 30.
I'll tell you, the only thing right now, if you're McKinley, Frank, you got to watch this clock. You don't want this to run out on you. Even though there's a lot of time, but if you're taking your timer here, that clock's going to keep ticking. And if you're only going to get a couple yards here and there, this clock is going to come into play, whether you get more points on the scoreboard.
McKinley will receive the second half kick. They kicked off to start the game. They will receive the ball at the start of the third quarter. Ford in shotgun. Hands it off to Moore. Takes off straight up the middle. May have picked up a good 7-8 yards there. Not quite enough for the first down. Clock still clicking away. We're going to get down to that 2-minute warning here in just a second. Should be 3rd and short. Maybe, not quite 3rd and 2. 3rd and 1.5, let's say.
But again, you get 2 shots at it. That's the beauty of this. You don't have to worry about the play that necessarily gets called here as long as it's not a negative play.
Ford in shotgun. 3rd and 1. Hands off to Moore. Breaks to his Staples, to his left. Gets enough for the first down. Forced out of bounds at about the 15, 14-yard line.
And what he did well, got out of bounds. Stop the clock right there so that they can get set up. They got their first down. Get ready. Take their time right now. Do not have to rush because of the clock.
So Brian Davis and his coaching staff, looks like they're going to take a timeout here with 1:40 on the clock. You are watching Section 6 quarterfinal playoff football action here from All High Stadium. McKinley leads Clarence 8-7. You'll be back after a word from our sponsors. You're watching on the NFHS Network. First and 10 for the McKinley Max at the Clarence 15. They lead Clarence 8-7 with a $140 on the scoreboard here in the second quarter. Ford takes the handoff, gets a keeper. Nowhere to go. Clarence wraps him up behind the line of scrimmage. Clock will wind down. It's going to bring up 2nd and 10, maybe 2nd and 11. It is a loss of 1. So after that first series where Clarence just went right down the field, Tom, they haven't really had too many good plays back-to-back, and it's because of those penalties on that last drive. Took a little something out of them. They've had a good drive here, though.
They're trying to answer. Like I said, is the one thing you've got to watch right now is that clock as we hit the 1-minute mark.
I believe they still have one more timeout. Under a minute here to go in the first half of this Class A quarterfinal. Ford in shotgun. Has Staples to his right. We've got movement on the line. Looks like it's going to be a false start for McKinley. No, it's a delay of game. That'll back them up. Nothing will take you out of a rhythm quicker than penalties like that.
You wonder if they try to go to the air here, too. So at least if there's an incomplete pass, it does stop the clock.
2nd and 16. Ford rolls out to his right, looking. Has a man almost picked off, and it is! Wow. Premalowski went right through his hands and into the defensive back of Clarence, waiting for a number on that one.
The replay right here. Frank, watch. He actually tips this on purposely. He doesn't try to tip it. See how he tipped it and then knocked it up in the air to his teammate right there. What a great play. His teammate Benjamin Seelig right there.
Can we
the
see that one more
junior.
time? I think it was tipped at the line of scrimmage. He rolls to his right. It looked to me like it might have been even tipped at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, it definitely was Prezalewski, though, right there, who comes up with the first tip right there, at least that you could see, that we could see visibly, and then gets it to his teammate. And now you expect Clarence just to make sure they need this in bounds right here.
Yeah.
Don't do anything to turn this ball over.
With 34 seconds on the clock, Tom, if you're Clarence, I think you just want to get to halftime, down a score, and let that clock wind down. And if you're Clarence, going to the dressing room after the first half at 8-7, Tom, I got to think you'd take that all day.
Oh, absolutely. And in fact, if you remember, that's exactly what I said to you earlier in this game. It seemed like McKinley owned the game for the first quarter and a half. Clarence just came up with one answer, and now you could go into halftime and celebrate something that you may not have played your best game, and it's a one-point game. McKinley does the same thing, though. You could say you have not done what you wanted to do as well, and you're going to get a chance to at least go out there and say, we have not played McKinley football, but guess what? We still have a one-point lead, and we can come big out in the second half.
So to start the game, Clarence fumbles on their first possession, back-to-back punts before the touchdown. And McKinley, they took advantage of that first turnover by Clarence. Kayla Ford and Anthony Moore with great runs in that first drive. Ford ultimately with the 4-yard touchdown run, the 2 extra points, make it an 8-7 game. They punted on their second possession, a turnover on downs on the third, and then this interception is pretty costly here as they were down inside the 15 before the first penalty came up, the delay of game, and then the interception. So
I'm even going to say, to me, what's even more than these penalties is that go out of bounds with your back turned right there instead of getting the first down, because that would have been your second score right there. I think that, to me, right now is one of the biggest differences in this game.
Yes, you got to point that out, Tom. Absolutely. That's another undisciplined kind of play there, if you will, or not being aware of your surroundings. So I'm sure that they're going to talk about that in the dressing room. But at the same time, they are up 8-7. They know they can run the ball. They got away from it a little bit. When they had success running the ball in those next couple of possessions, the penalties came, and they have to change that.
Yep. But I'm going to tell you, they found something they saw apparently on the left side of the line. You got to wonder if they go to attack that into the second half and see if they can get that run game back to what it was doing in the second half. And it didn't matter who it was, if you remember. There were 3 different running backs, and I'm going to just call them a running back for this thing in Ford, but 3 of them that ran the ball that all was effective on the left side down the sideline, and they were able to have big runs for first downs each and every time.
Cardell Staples has one very big catch in this game for McKinley. And Nick Kenzie has another really big catch for Clarence. That was the key. That's what turned things around for that Red Devil offense. And they tried that play just a couple before.
No.
And it was a late pass.
It was one play before.
Yeah.
Remember, it was a penalty that was called.
Yes.
And then, boom, they say, we're going to run it again, and ran it again for a positive play.
Yeah. And, with the weather the way it is, Tom, you called it, it might be a little bit tougher to throw the ball, but that's where they've had success. Yep. So you may see a little more of Arnold using his arm. He does have 6 touchdowns heading into this game, 5 interceptions. Didn't have a whole lot of attempts this year compared to other quarterbacks. He was 59 of 100 for 882 yards. Again, 6 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. His longest throw of the year went for 65 yards. And for Kayla Ford, he's been not the entire offense for McKinley, but a good portion of it.
He is something to watch. The way he moves, he legitimately could probably play just about any position on the field when you talk about skilled positions. I could put him at wide receiver. I could do what we're doing at quarterback. You could make him a running back. You get that young man into open space, and he is one of the most dangerous runners there is.
So Ford, 1,142 rushing yards coming into this game. It was Anthony Moore with 968. I believe he's gone over 1,000.
Yeah, I think so too.
At some point in this first half. So he's running pretty well. But so is Kylan Williams. He's doing a pretty good job. He's got 343 rushing yards on 31 attempts this year. We'd like to see Ford get back to running the ball a little bit more. He's quick, but he's also very shifty.
Yeah. That's that east-west we're talking about right there. But he does it almost stopping on a dime and bouncing the other way and finding an opening and just being so aggressive when he sees it, because then he can get back up to speed quicker than most can.
It's like a human joystick out there. All right.
It really is.
Well, hey, let's take a quick commercial break, or maybe a little bit longer commercial break. We're at halftime. About 8 minutes to go before the guys come back onto the field. You're watching the Section 6 Class A quarterfinal between McKinley and Clarence. The Macs lead the Red Devils 8-7. He's Tom Prince. I'm Frank Wolf. We'll be back in a few minutes. You're watching on the NFHS Network.
This high school gym used to be packed most nights. Not anymore. Do you know why? Because bad behavior by fans, especially adults, has caused a shortage of game officials across the country. You see, without officials, we can't have sports. Don't let this become reality. It's time for a change. Let's bench bad behavior for good.
You have no business being out there.
You know, I'm a person too.
High school sports fans, relive your favorite moments. Just click the shopping cart below the video player to get your digital copy today.
Are you an enthusiastic sports fan? Want to have fun and get in on the action?
Heck yes, that'd be awesome.
Have great attention to detail. Want to stay active?
Definitely.
Want to give back to the student athletes in your community?
Obviously, yes.
Then you'd make an excellent high school sports official. We need more officials across the country, because with no high school officials, there are no high school sports. Sign up today at highschoolofficials.com. This is heart. This is pride. This is community. This is high school football. Our number one priority is protecting our players. That's why we're writing new rules for the sport and developing innovative educational tools that protect our athletes. This is player protection. This is high school football.
Western New York. We're back. It is right now McKinley 8, Clarence 7. We're still at halftime. We're going to go to the out-of-town scoreboard for you folks right now so you get a chance to see what's going on. We still, oh, look at this, folks. Lancaster 7, Niagara Falls 6. That one is a game right now happening over in Lancaster, and they're waiting on to see who's going to play the winner of that one to get right back here to Ojai to take on the Bennett Tigers. And then you've got McKinley, we already said, up 8-7 over Clarence. We're going to go right now to the Southwestern Frewsburg-Medina game. Southwestern Frewsburg up 27-7. We've got the shootout happening in Eden North Collins as they are tied 22-22 with Portville at the half. And then also at the half, Newfane, the number 1 seed in Class D, leading the Allegheny Limestone Hinsdale team 34-0. So if you take a look, there are a couple big games right now happening with close scores. The Eden North Collins Portville game, the McKinley Clarence game, which we're at, and the Lancaster Niagara Falls game. Folks, this is the time of the year that everyone gets excited for, and I'll tell you, I'm excited right now just every day from game to game to game to see exactly what's going to happen. Tomorrow I'm going to get the chance to go back to the C Conference to see the Barker-Royhart team take on Salamanca at Royhart-Barker. And then on Saturday, I'll get a chance to go back to the A Conference to see the West Seneca West team take on Williamsville East. And then Saturday night, get a chance to be on the call for St. Francis Canisius, which will be the biggest game of the year inside the Monsignor Martin Conference. And when you look at everybody's rankings in Western New York, 1, 2 are right now Canisius and St. Francis, and we'll get a chance to see who's going to break that tie and earn the number 1 ranking in Western New York when it comes to the 1 and 2 seeds. So we've got a lot of fun games happening, and you can see scores are just about here. They're updated. We're going to keep updating you guys as the game goes on. But right now, we're getting ready to almost start this second half. The rain has picked up a little bit. You can see it's still that misty rain right now coming through the lights that we can see. You can see it on the screen as well. But both teams getting ready to come out. And as they get ready to come out, you're going to see Frank Wolf get onto the headset right here. And I'll tell you, Frank, we went over to the scoreboard, and I'll tell you, one big game really popped out that you haven't heard the score update yet. It's Lancaster 7, Niagara Falls 6, and it's a game over there at Lancaster. And you know with this rain, that grass field, that's really going to come into play over there.
Michael Taylor is one of those quarterbacks that can take over a game.
Yep.
If he gets the support. There's too many athletes. There's too many tough, skilled athletes in Niagara Falls for them not to be able to compete for a sectional title year after year. But like in years past, even with Bennett, when they were coming up through Section 6, they would take a few weeks to get going. The first few weeks, you might not see the real Bennett. And that's how it was at Niagara Falls. You may not see the real Niagara Falls till week 4, week 5, once they start getting into those division games. But once they wake up, they're dangerous. And you can see what happens with Bennett when they wake up. Unbeatable.
Well, we said it. We said it week after week, probably since week 3, I think we said it. Nobody wanted to see Niagara Falls in the playoffs because of what they're capable of doing. And guess what? Lancaster's seeing that right now as we've got an absolute dogfight over there in Lancaster. And as this rain comes on and the run game becomes even more important, does that become a positive for Niagara Falls? Think about it. The last couple teams that have been in the upper echelon of the AA, Orchard Park, Jamestown, Bennett, all those teams, look at how much the run game, how many teams ran to put up some big numbers against Lancaster's defense just on the runs. We saw Bennett put up over 300 yards just not last week, but 2 weeks ago. We saw Orchard Park be able to put up some big numbers. Bresky ran for over 200 yards against them. Will Niagara Falls, especially because of the weather, Who knows? But,
Anything
boy,
can
that's
happen.
going to be a fun second half.
Anything can happen. I'll tell you what, you're going to have Cardell Staples, and that's number 5, Kylan Williams, back there to receive for McKinley. Tom, there's no time like the present for Clarence to pull off some kind of trickery here. I would not be surprised if they try some kind of short kick here to catch McKinley off guard.
Good call. You do it in the rain, and it is. And I'll tell you, what I do like, check out the setup right now of McKinley. Look at where they are. You're not going to see that new onside kick unless they got to go all the way down to the 30-yard line right there to see if they can get some sort of kick down in that area. But I'll tell you, I would consider that anyway, because those 2 young men back there for McKinley are dangerous if they get the ball in their hands, and you want to keep the ball away from them if you are Clarence anyway.
So Clarence gets ready to kick off here, trailing McKinley 8-7. Julian Mazzarulli ready to kick, and he does kind of kick that squib towards the middle. Dangerous there. Williams has it. He runs to his right, has a blocker. Staples still on his feet. Around the end, forced out of bounds by the Clarence Red Devils at about midfield. So a great return for McKinley there as we begin the second half. Max leading the Red Devils 8-7. So it was kind of a squibbish short kick there, Tom. They were looking for something there. Didn't quite happen the way they wanted to draw it up, but nonetheless, McKinley, okay, so they spotted him out of bounds, Tom, at about the 44-yard line, it looks like. So Kayla Ford in the offense take over here. There's Ford with the handoff to Moore. Up the middle, breaks one tackle. Now up to about midfield, stretches out across the 50. They'll probably spot that at the 49-yard line, not about halfway, 4.5 yards or so. So about halfway to the first down marker, and a nice first play there coming out of the half for the McKinley Max. I was talking to James Mallory, former Kenmore West Blue Devil, Section 6 Hall of Famer to be someday, I hope. Has the credentials for it. That's his younger brother, Kaylan Ford. Another handoff to Moore. He gets through the line of scrimmage, picks up 4.5 yards. That might be enough for the first down. Waiting for the spot. Ball is placed just shy of the first down marker. So it'll bring up 3rd and short for McKinley.
And they're ready to move quickly. Clarence wasn't ready right there as they're still trying to get into position.
Moore has enough for the first down and then some. Gets down across the 45, maybe to the 44, 43-yard line, and they're in Clarence territory. One thing Clarence does really well is switch up that line. They got nice depth on the line, both sides of the ball, and they're switching guys in and out to keep them fresh and ready to go.
Well, especially the D tackle position, because think about it. You've got 5 guys that are on that offensive line that we've already talked about, 4 with Trench Trophy nominations. So those 4 guys, if you're going to play them both ways, you're going to play them at the 2 spots at the D tackle position, and that's how you can keep them constantly fresh, because your D ends are not necessarily going to be guys that were on the line. They're going to be different guys that you're going to bring in on defense.
1st and 10 McKinley, 10:33 to go here in the third quarter. Ford keeps it up the middle, has room, gets through that secondary, just about anyways, picks up 7 yards there. McKinley came into this game. They scored 286 games in the regular season. That's good for 2nd in Class A. They gave up 94 points. That was 7th best in Class A. And Clarence, I had their numbers too somewhere. I don't know what I did with them. They're here somewhere. Ford with the handoff to Moore. Has not quite enough for the first down there. Nonetheless, McKinley Max offense is back, firing on all cylinders, it appears, as they come out of here into the third quarter. And again, Tom, they're just a mistake or 2 away from being up by 2 scores.
Yeah, we said that earlier on.
3rd and 2 for the Max. Ford in shotgun, has Moore back there with him. Moore takes it up the middle. Has enough for the first down. just about, I believe.
Yeah, I think they're going to move the change, yeah.
First down, McKinley.
So, Frank, you walked out of the box. How much cooler is it outside right now?
It's comfortable.
Okay.
It wasn't that bad.
So the rain and everything from a temperature standpoint is not bad then?
It wasn't too bad. You see some umbrellas out there, but as far as the temperature goes, we're high 30s, low 40s.
Okay.
Not too bad. Maybe we're in the 40, maybe it's 45, 46.
I'll get us to
Do I look like a weatherman?
We're actually 47 degrees right now.
Ford with the keeper, met at the line of scrimmage, drags a player down a couple of yards. Might have picked up 2. Yeah, I don't know exactly what the temp is, Tom, but I was quite comfortable outside. Ford, another keeper, and Clarence was all over that one.
It's the second big play.
Yep.
Matt Majewski. It was Matt Majewski twice that he's come back up in this. He had a play just 2 plays earlier when Ford had that big run. He was the one on that stop. Majewski's right now come up big twice, and you can see he's out there trying to pump his team up right now and get them to be able to go behind him and help him out. Long third down right here. This is a big job right here for McKinley to try to get this first down. You're going to get 2 shots at it because of where you are on the field, but you got to get a chunk right here.
3rd and 10 for the Max. Leading Clarence 8-7. Ford and shotgun with Moore. Ford looks to his right, rolls out, throws, has a man, breaks a tackle, still on his feet, finally brought down. I believe that's Staples out there. Good enough for the first down. So Clarence moves the change yet again.
How impressed have you been with Ford's patience today? Even when he runs the ball, you're seeing him patient to wait for those holes to open up. But there you could see, even when he rolls out like that, he's very patient, waits, and gets his open man for the first down.
Coming into this game, Staples was number 5 in receiving here in Section 6 with 657 yards and 7 touchdowns. Well over 700 today. Ford with the keeper up the middle, finds a little hole, almost off to the races. The secondary was waiting for him, though. Gets to just about the first down marker, just shy. That'll bring up 2nd and a couple. 6:39 on the clock, winding down here in the 3rd quarter.
But how about this first drive? Just look at the amount of time that has come off the clock right now. It has just been this methodical drive by McKinley where they're owning the time of possession right here, limiting what Clarence can do because they are constantly moving the ball and getting a first down.
Moore with the handoff inside the 5, met by a few Red Devils in the secondary, brought down. And I believe that's enough for the first and goal. First and goal for McKinley. And they're playing a ball control offense here, Tom.
That's exactly what I've just been saying. They've literally taken half the time off this clock here in the 3rd quarter.
And a lot of that momentum that Clarence had as they went into the first half. Ford, handoff to Moore, driven back by that big Clarence line. Brody Kaufman was there. He wrapped them up like a Christmas gift.
That's a big stop. You got to keep coming up big right here if you're Clarence to see if you can make another big defensive stop. But I tell you, this is exactly the way McKinley started off the game. They came out aggressive on offense, some great runs, put points on the board. They're seeing if they can take that momentum the same way and get it back in the second half to see if they can start it out like they did in the first half.
Ford under center. Handoff. And he's in for the touchdown. I believe that's number 6, the fullback. Jameer Hill finds pay dirt for McKinley, and they've got that 7-point lead back. 14-7 McKinley waiting for the 2-point conversion.
Yeah, great play. And you can see as they've been focusing up the A-gap, they've been trying to go more up the middle right here on this drive, different from the way they started off the game where they were going to the outside, to the left side of the line. And they're going to come up with a big stop right here. Clarence, they tried to give it to Hill again, but Clarence stops them. We say this over and over again, how much special teams can be the difference in the game. Now Clarence, if they can go down and score, they can still use their kicker right now to try to tie it up.
So a huge stop there for the Clarence Red Devils special teams. Players there, 5:09 on the clock. McKinley leads 14-7 here in the third quarter.
You want to look at let's look at the scoreboard right now. Let's see what's happening out of town right here. We're going to get we're going to get you a refresh. So here's your score updates. Still 7-6. It looks like it's at half for the Lancaster-Niagara Falls game. Eden, North Collins, Portville tied 22-22 still. Newfane up 48-0 over Allegheny Limestone. We heard that they think that's a running clock right now over in that game. And that Southwestern Frewsburg Medina game still sitting at 27-7 at halftime.
I see Iroquois up 14-0 on South Park. That's a lot closer than I might have thought it would have been. Good for South Park, though. Tim Delaney is a pretty good coach, and he's got something dialed up for that Iroquois offense. He knows he knows that they have their hands full with Justice Kleitz.
But remember, it's raining. It's a lot of things, takes away from the air attack, and this is one of the things the weather can take away from it.
McKinley will kick this one off to Clarence. Premilewski with it. Crosses the 45 and brought down almost to the 45, I should say, which is where Clarence offense is going to take over. They've had 4 possessions all in the first half. A fumble right on their first play of the game from scrimmage. 2 back-to-back punts, and then the touchdown with their last drive. Premilewski had that touchdown. Extra point was good. They're at 7 points there, so it's a 14-7 game. And
but again, no reason to get upset right here because you're still down by a score. Doesn't change whether it's 8-7 or whether it's 4. You still got a score that you're down by that you've got to go ahead and answer. The only difference is your defense comes up big on the special team, stops the 2-point conversion, so you don't have to go for a 2-point conversion.
Arnold keeps it. Gets through the line of scrimmage, picks up about 3 yards before he's brought down by Avery Stone. Looks like Brodus was in on the tackle as well.
Yeah, touch on Henley as well.
Robert Maley and Mark Armstrong, former Clarence Red Devil football players, were inducted into the Hall of Fame at their school recently. Maley was on the 1982 team, and Armstrong 2013. Armstrong was actually drafted by the Cincinnati Reds.
Ooh, I like that one.
That's why I brought that up. Arnold can't quite get to the line of scrimmage. Big time stop there by the McKinley Max. Jameer Hill was in on that one. Looks like Minter got in there as well.
I will say this.
3rd and 7.
When you see teams right now penetrating the way McKinley are, you got to do some things to get out past the ends. Some pitches out past the ends. Some more screens out past the ends. Quick passes out to your wide receivers, especially if you're getting any cushion out there. I really think there's some things that Clarence can do to really help move the ball a little bit more. You got to take it away of everything right up that A-gap.
So Arnold has a man in motion. That's Aguilera. Arnold looks, throws it out to Premilewski. He's got it this time, and he's got room to run. Breaks one tackle, breaks to the left, center of the field, running up the gut, into the end zone. Touchdown, Clarence. What a pitch and throw there by the quarterback, Arnold. That's a play they dialed up in the first half. Remember he dropped it?
Oh, that was the exact play. That was
the same play.
But if it was a quick out right there. That's exactly what we're talking about to make sure you do. But he really does a great job cutting it back inside, finding an opening and getting to the end zone. That's the answer Clarence was looking for in this one. But I'll tell you, that's exactly what you do. You got to get a quick out outside those ends when you have a team penetrating inside the backfield like we're seeing McKinley do.
Mazzarulli comes in for the extra point. If successful, we've got ourselves a tie football game. Snap. Ball's down. Kick up. And it is good. 14-14 with 3:26 to play here in the third quarter. as Clarence, on their 5th possession of the game, score their a back-to-back touchdown.
Wow, what a game we got here, folks.
Premaluski's 2nd touchdown of the evening. I don't know how far that touchdown was for, though, Tom. I think it was for at least 35 yards.
No, it was longer than that because they were on their side of the field. So I want to say it was
65.
50, yeah, it was that's exactly
55.
Yep,
55.
55
Thank
yards.
you very
I
much,
think
Mr. Dorsey. Do we have a replay of that? Is it possible to bring one up so I can see it one more time and these folks at home?
We cut off. That's
okay.
You can see the very end of it.
Nice
right
catch. Makes one player miss. Moore couldn't catch up to him. That's surprising. Premaluski with great vision.
A great cutback. That's exactly what it was. Once he caught it, you broke your one tackle. Then you saw guys in front of you, and that's when he cut it back inside. And as you said, took it up the gut the rest of the way into the end zone.
Nothing is handed to you here in high school football. You got to earn it. McKinley came into this game as a pretty heavy favorite, Tom. But it's a 14-14 game. The regular season was yesterday. This is a brand new season. Now, Clarence, do they try something silly here, or do they try to pin McKinley somewhat deep? I'm assuming they're going to kick this as far as they can into the end zone if possible. And that is kicked right to Williams, number 5. On the right-hand side, he's got some room, but he is forced out of bounds. Had one guy to beat, Tom, and he might have been deep into Clarence territory if he would have beat that tackler.
Tough when you're along the sideline because you just need to get the push is all that you need, and that's exactly what happened as he gets pushed out of bounds on that far sideline.
So now the McKinley offense goes back to work. They scored a 3-yard touchdown on their first possession of the second half. Prior to touchdown on their first possession, then a punt, turnover on downs, and then the interception to end the half. Touchdown by Hill to start the third, and the offense is here again. Great ball control offense on their first drive. They went about 50, 60 yards to start the half, and I think you're going to see more of that now. Ford, handoff to Moore. Gets through the line of scrimmage, picks up a couple of yards there. Engasser was in there, I believe, on the tackle, or Pozlowski.
To be honest, more important than what you cited in the yards was the time of possession that they had. They had the ball for over 6 minutes inside that first drive. And look at where we are. So that's how quick you saw Clarence answered. Now let's see if they can do the ball control offense and use up as much time as they can and get into the fourth quarter.
2nd and 7 for McKinley, and that rain's starting to pick up out there. Look at how big that defensive line is for Clarence. Moore gets through the front line, crosses the 50, and up for the first down. Anthony Moore with a big run there for the McKinley backs, and they're back in business.
And that's a big tackle by number 9, Nick Kenzie, on that one as he comes up big to make that stop, because you are right, he breaks that tackle, and he's got wide open turf all the way to the end zone.
Looks like we have a penalty or a timeout.
No, we had flags.
You have flag? Okay. False start against McKinley, so that'll back them up to 1st and 15. 2:17 to go here in the third quarter as the teams exchange touchdowns on their first possession of the second half.
So when we get a little break, it looks like when we get a next break, we should go back to the scoreboard. We do got some updates that have starting to come through again.
Forward to the McKinley offense. Come out of the huddle. Ford, of course, working out a shotgun. He's got Moore to his right. Staples to his right. Ford runs to the right. Met by one defender. Still on his feet. Breaks one tackle. Finally brought down at about the 44, 45-yard line. Time's running down. Ford will pick up 7 yards on that, make it 2nd and 8.
Kalen Ford's listed at 5'10", 180. And for somebody who is 180 pounds, breaking tackles the way that he is just shows it doesn't matter the weight, it doesn't matter the height, it matters the heart, and it matters exactly what this young man does, shows speed and strength no matter what that size is out on the field.
Ford. Give this one, I believe this number 5, Williams. An end around, ball's on the carpet. Clarence couldn't come up with it, though. It looks like McKinley recovered that one. Waiting for the official to give the official ruling. So, McKinley, they have one turnover earlier, almost turned it over there.
That's Jesse Baldwin who comes up with that play right there. He doesn't land on that, make that happen. That's a turnover and could switch the entire momentum of the game if they don't go ahead and get that ball back.
Great awareness by number 10 for Clarence. Ford. Under 12 seconds to go here in the third quarter. Hand off to Moore. Moore gets pushed back by this Clarence defensive line. Huge gang tackle there. And that'll do it for the end of the third quarter. 14-14 here at All High Stadium. We'll be back after a word from our sponsors.
Our number one priority is protecting our players. That's why we're writing new rules for the sport and developing innovative educational tools that protect our athletes. This is player protection. This is high school football.
You have no business being out there.
You know, I'm a person too.
Back here at All High Stadium, Clarence and McKinley, 14-14. The fourth quarter is just about to get underway. Here are those out-of-town scores. Well, we had it for a second. Where are they?
They're getting refreshed right now. And obviously the scores, 34-7, Southwestern Frewsburg over Medina, 28-28, still that Eden North Collins Portville game. Newfane up 56-0 over Allegheny Limestone, and that Iroquois South Park game 14-7. I'll tell you, that might need to get updated. That looks like it's still in the second quarter right there, so you wonder if that may still be something later. They're at halftime.
Second and 1. That was Staples that took the handoff there, but there is a flag on the play. It's a holding call going against McKinley here. I would love to see how many penalties are on McKinley and how many are on Clarence. It's got to be 10-1, 8-2. But McKinley just continuing to make some mental errors here. All tied up at 14. Ball spotted now at the 50. Second and 23. Ford looking. Puts it up. He's got a man down. This is going to be almost picked off. Wow, I think there was a guy waiting for it. It was tipped by his teammate.
Yeah, it looked like it was
Kenzie.
Moore. Moore was waiting for it right there. But you're right. Kenzie knocks it down. But Moore, I think, would have come up with the interception. And if not, you could see a quick replay right there.
I believe that was Walden. Is the player he was looking for. No, not Baldwin, I'm sorry.
No, it was he was trying to find Daniels is who he's trying to find. Kenzie knocked it away. Moore right there also, but multiple guys were looking to make a big play right there.
That'll bring up 3rd and 23 for Ford in the max. At the 50. 11:25 here in the fourth quarter, all tied up at 14. Class A sectional quarterfinal. Ford looking to his left. Has another man. Puts it up. And it's bobbled and caught.
Oh my.
Are you kidding me? Is that Cardell Staples again? Oh, my Lord.
look at this one. He throws it up. It's a one-on-one matchup with your star, and it is Staples who comes up right there for another play to keep the drive alive.
ESPN Sports Center Top 10. How you doing? What a grab by Staples, and there'll be a timeout on the field here. Look, was that 3rd and 23? My goodness. So now McKinley, after that great catch by Staples, circus-like catch by Cardell Staples. And, you know, Tom, I only got to see him with the ball in his hand a few times this year. A little bit against Health Sciences. They didn't have a great game. Then we saw them play North Tonawanda. You and I were both there.
Yep.
He muffed those 2 punts. Very un-Cardell Staples-like. Muffed the 2 punts. But he's rebounded. He had a touchdown in that game, by the way.
Oh,
he did rebound and make up for it.
They came big in the third quarter.
Yes.
They came out and had a big third quarter. Sometimes, you know, when you're heavily favored in a game, sometimes you don't come in with that same intensity right there. And I think that was happening. Plus, there was a ton of emotions that game. That was senior night, if you remember.
Yes.
With a ton of emotions that leaves you out there on the field.
So McKinley, 1st and 10 at the Clarence 18. Ford fakes the handoff to Moore, takes it himself, runs to the left, but Clarence was waiting for him. Might have picked up a handful of yards, if that. I'm going to say he got 3, maybe 4. Should be 2nd and 6. We'll have to wait for the official spot. 10:50 or so on the clock. For those of you watching at home, you're watching on the NFHS Network. Tom, what are you doing tomorrow night?
Tomorrow, I let everyone know at halftime what I was going to be doing. So tomorrow night, I'm at the Barker-Royhart game as they're going to take on Salamanca, the defending team from Section 6 that made it to the state finals last year, and it was 1 pass away from them being a state champion.
Moore breaks a couple tackles, heading towards the end zone. Still on his feet, crosses the plane, put him in there. Touchdown McKinley. It's 20-14 Max. Anthony Moore with great determination on that run. He wasn't taking no for an answer.
And here's the replay. Take a look where look at it again. Shifted nice. You went up the A-gap, shifted out, and the A-gap right up that center area is where he went, and then shifted to the left where he went towards his sideline and then runs it right in for a touchdown. Unbelievable job right there by Moore to give his team the lead and the momentum back to his side of the field.
He broke 3 tackles that I counted, Tom. Back-to-back touchdowns for McKinley.
This is big. This is big right now for McKinley.
Going for 2 as they normally do. Clarence stopped them last time. Ford runs to his right. Looks like he's going to get in. Waiting for the signal. Hands are up. It's 22-14 McKinley. 10:22 left to go here in the 4th quarter.
Yeah, unbelievable job. They seem to do real well, especially when they could get one-on-one matchups on the outside. That's what they took advantage of right there, as you saw him go all the way towards the Clarence sideline and be able to get it in that end zone. A great job by McKinley and a great answer. And to me, what most importantly is you got that 2-point conversion, and now as we're getting into the 4th quarter, you're going to now force Clarence to have to go for 2 points if any scores happen from here on in.
Absolutely, Tom. So things get really interesting here out at All High Stadium.
Can we take a quick look at the scoreboard right now? Because we've had some more scores that have come in. Let's see if we've got any adjustments from any of the other games. Oh, there is one. Lancaster has scored. They're up 13-6 over Niagara Falls in that one. It looks like Eden North Collins has taken the lead over Portville 36-28 in that one. We're at half now for Iroquois South Park. Wow, they are much farther behind than everybody. 14-6-7 over there. Boy, that game could be going deep into the night right there.
Maybe they had a lightning strike and they had to delay a little bit.
You
know, that could
be anything.
You know,
a lot of flags get thrown. Remember, Iroquois is a throwing team. You throw the ball a lot, that clock keeps stopping too.
So McKinley's getting ready to kick off. You've got Premilewski back there for Clarence. He's got both their touchdowns. 10:22 to go for Clarence. Premilewski, the kick is up. Now, is there a flag on the play they called?
Is way on the far side near the numbers, so it looks like it's going to be some sort of offsides against McKinley is what they're going to call.
So next week, should McKinley hang on here, they are going to have to wait for the winner of the the Grand Island Will North game, which happens tomorrow night at Williamsville North, where Rob Gronkowski once played, and a number of Jim Kelly's nephews, at least 3 of them that I know of.
And think about this too, Frank. McKinley, if Grand Island were to go ahead and upset Will North, McKinley gets a home game then next week. So you got to think there may be a little rooting interest over there. Not that you're rooting to play anybody right now. I meant just rooting interest because you want a home game. That's it.
I wonder if they play Thursday. They won't be able to play Friday because Bennett's here Friday night. Unless Bennett elects to play Thursday, which I don't think they do. They had a great practice today, by the way. I was here for that Bennett practice. Oh, the end of it, anyways. Good practice. Premaluski in and out of his hands. Bounces back to inside the 5. He's got it back up. Now he heads up. A couple of McKinley players are there to finally bring him down at about the 12-yard line. There is a McKinley player down. 2 players went down. Slow to get up. Not sure exactly what happened, Tom. One of those guys was number 5 for McKinley. Kylan Williams shaken up on that play. I think 21 was the other. So the McKinley defense comes back up. 2 of their players are in the top, are the number 1 and 2 in sacks here in Section 6, and another guy is number 7 in sacks. So Clarence down 22-14 here in the 4th quarter. Went into the halftime down 8-7. They've scored on their last 2 possessions, as McKinley has as well. This is only their 6th possession of the game.
Well, when both teams are running the ball as much as they are, that's the reason why. You limit the amount of possessions that happen inside of a game.
McKinley's done a really good job of controlling the ball. You would think that, Clarence would want to have that ball control offense and keep McKinley's offense up the field. It's kind of worked the other way.
Well, and that's also because of McKinley's defense. Remember, that entire first quarter was been the defense of McKinley that has stood up to Clarence.
Haven't called that number a heck of a lot today. That is Trevor Mueller, a sophomore for Clarence, getting the handoff. All 5'10", 170 pounds of them.
Frank, you could actually see on the screen at one point, take a look at it. Look at the heat coming off the players. See that? That's heat coming off the players out there. That's amazing. Great video there by our videographer out there, Mario Hall, doing a fantastic job on the camera.
Clarence, they're playing one of their best games so far to date. You really got to be playing your best ball right now. Arnold may have picked up 1 or 2 or gotten to the line of scrimmage. Who knows what happened there. He didn't get much. It's going to bring up about 3rd and 8. Now, wins for Clarence this year. They beat Sweet Home, Niagara Wheatfield, Ken West, and Frontier. Only one of those teams is here in the Section 6 playoffs. They beat Ken West 15-9 just a few weeks ago, where they kept Harlem Brandon to under 100 yards.
We're losing late in that game, too. That was a late score that they needed to win that game against Kenmore West as well.
There's a few guys from this Clarence team that won a Section 6 title back in 2023. They beat Lockport 43-16 under head coach Paul Bergio. David Van Horn rushed for 4 touchdowns that day. Their defense forced 6 turnovers. Flags on the play. Not sure what the call is going to be here.
They were trying to run that same play with Kenzie on this side of the field where he comes to the sideline, runs back, see if he could get that opening. They were trying that same play again.
Well, that's going to bring them back to 3rd and 13 now for Clarence. Arnold back to pass. Fires one over, intercepted! 22 for McKinley, walks it into the end zone. Nazir Liggins, the junior. 5'4", 145. He feels like 1,000 pounds right now. What a pick six there for McKINLEY, and this game has been turned over. 28-14 Max with 8:29 to go here in quarter four.
Here's the replay right here. You're going to see they looked over to Kenzie, but instead he reads it beautifully. Liggins, as he reads it beautifully, picks it off, and he takes it into the end zone. But that's a great pick six right there for McKINLEY. And you wonder, in this weather, does that become enough for them? But points or not, to me, this becomes a big drive for Clarence and a must score for them on this next drive.
2-point conversion coming up here for the McKINLEY Max. Hand off, but he's pushed back. I don't think they're going to get it. No, they won't. So the score will remain 28-14 as McKINLEY has taken command of this game for the second turnover for Clarence. This one is a real costly one. Player down for Clarence. It's a player down around the 5-yard line. It's one of their bigger players. It could be a lineman.
You want to go to the scoreboard while somebody's down, just so that we don't, we don't keep it on them. So we're going to get a quick refresh here, see if any scores have changed right now.
We know Newfane's the final now.
Yes,
56-0.
That is a final. Looks like everything else is pretty much held serve to what we've talked about earlier. Oh, no, that Eden North Collins, did we say they took the lead?
Yeah, they were up
Okay.
36-28 last
So
update.
that was the only one that we really see as a different score. It looks like everybody else is held serve now at this point inside their games. And we'll probably give you another update as we near the end of this game right here.
I'm going to join you tomorrow night. I won't be on the broadcast, but I'll head up to Barker with you and Carson Harper and check that game out.
Why not?
The only thing keeping me from that game, Tom, I haven't seen Salamanca in person this year, and I want to go check them out because they are the reigning Section 6 Class C champion.
I meant, why are you going to join us on the broadcast is what I meant.
Oh, it's kind of tight in there. But I really want to take a look at that Akron-Chautauqua Lake game. Yep. I think that's an underrated game heading into the playoffs here. This poor kid from Clarence is still down on the field.
Well, you and I have been called out enough for not talking about that team, I'll tell you that. So we got to make sure that no matter what, if they win that game, they better get all the accolades. In fact, that's the one team we're probably going to have to invite in on the show on Wednesday night.
Akron?
Absolutely. If they get the win, we're going to have to invite them in.
Yeah, no question about that. 28-14 is your score here at All High Stadium. This is the Section 6 Class A quarterfinal between McKINLEY and Clarence. And it was a very good game, at least through the first 3.5 quarters or so. Just maybe the last couple of minutes kind of got out of hand here for Clarence. The player is pretty shooken up out there. Number of people attending to him right now. So we're not quite clear on what the injury was. But we will take a break. We're going to step aside. We appreciate you watching our coverage of this Section 6 quarterfinal football game between Clarence and McKINLEY. The Max lead 28-14. You're watching on the NFHS Network. There was Ivan Pozlowski that was shaken up on that play. He is up, walking towards the sideline and being helped to the bench right now. Yeah, he's shaken up, Tom. I don't think you're going to see him come back into this one, but he looks okay, but I don't think he's going to be coming back into this game anytime soon. And that is a huge loss for Clarence as he sees a lot of the field on both sides of the ball, and we hope that kid's okay.
Okay, there's a reason for the Iroquois South Park game, just so you know. There was a 7:30 start. That's why they are behind everybody. I want to thank Francis Beck for pointing that out to us. Thanks, Francis.
Does that mean Francis is listening to our call?
He is.
Wow.
I think he has to be. Come on. Francis is the man. I know that he's up on all this.
So now Clarence looking to get within a score here, trailing McKinley 28-14. They'll take over at their 40-yard line. First and 10.
Great starting field position, though. This is what they want if they're going to go ahead and make an answer. But to me, this is a must-drive for Clarence. You've got to put points on that scoreboard right now. Get in that end zone. Has to happen right now for you to have a chance.
Not that I care that much at all. It looks like the Ravens are beating the Dolphins in the NFL.
Yeah, we don't. Mario Hall does, though.
There's a long bomb. He's got a man in and out of his hands. That was a great throw by the quarterback, Nathan Arnold.
Yeah, Kenzie wants that one back.
Almost had it. Just maybe a little bit too much on it, Tom. If anything, can we see a replay? Did we see a replay?
Look at that. Oh, right off his fingertips right there. And Kenzie knew it. He wants that one back right there. But what a great, that's what you want. Think about it. If you could have answered right there and he runs that one in and answer that with 8 minutes still left in the game, this is an entirely different game then.
Kenzie's just a sophomore. He's going to have a lot more opportunities over the next couple of years. 2nd and 10 now for Clarence. They trail McKinley 28-14. They played very well today.
Both teams have played very well today.
What I was trying to get at earlier, Tom, is Clarence. Their losses were to West Seneca West, Will North, and, of course, Bennett. Two of those A1 teams, though, that are in the playoffs. Close games. They lost by 8 last week to Will North and then 7 a few weeks prior to West Seneca West. Here's Arnold again. Quick little dump off to Premaluski. Still on his feet. They blew the play dead. Well, I believe that was Minter there with the tackle for loss for McKinley.
So the question becomes now for everybody. If you want to see what Frank Wolf's predictions were so far for these playoffs, they're all over right now. Facebook, X, our website, you got to go check it out and see, is Frank going to be right on these games that we're talking about right now?
Well, I was wrong already because I had Southwestern playing Eden North College at the stadium. They can't. They're in the same bracket.
I actually
Somebody should be fired over that.
Somebody commented on that, too. I did see that. And I go, why are they commenting on that? Well, now I know why.
I had to call 911 and have Francis Beck fix that. Just make it CWB real fast. No one will notice. Arnold with the keeper, inching his way towards the line of scrimmage. That's going to bring up 4th and maybe 13, 14 and 12 perhaps. 7:08 on the clock. And they're, Tom, at this stage in the game, I guess you.
Oh, you have to go for this. You really do, especially with the way the ball-controlled offense of McKinley has been. We've already seen them take 6 minutes off the clock on a drive in the third quarter. You've got to take a shot at this if you think you're going to be able to get a shot at winning this game.
Let's see if he goes to Premaluski or if he looks for Aguilera. He hasn't looked his way too much today. Haven't seen Lorenz, and I haven't seen McKenzie. So we'll have to see what Clarence dials up here. Looks like they're going to call a timeout. Someone's calling a timeout here.
McKinley.
Okay. Why don't we take a quick 30-second break? You're watching all the action here on the NFHS Network. Welcome back to Robert E. Rich All-High Stadium in Buffalo, New York. This is North Buffalo. This is not downtown. 4th and 13 for Clarence, trailing McKinley 28-14. Arnold looking back to pass. Has a man open at the 50. Breaks a tackle. Gets down to about the 35, 36-yard line. Is that Kenzie? It is the sophomore. Redeems himself with a huge catch and run.
And here's the play on it right here. Take a look. As you see, he's wide open. Needs to break one tackle, and he does it right there and gets it down for a first down. That was the game right there. That game could end if they don't complete that pass. Give Clarence credit. Give credit right now to your quarterback and wide receiver as, again, Arnold throws it to Kenzie for the big pass and complete.
And these are the money rounds here as Kalon Ford is now in the secondary for McKinley. On 1st and 10, handoff play there to number 10, Aguilera, goes for nowhere. Actually tackled behind the line of scrimmage, so McKinley defense gets into the backfield there, and they're going to force now Clarence into like a 2nd and 12, I believe. 5:36 to go. They lost 4 yards on that play. Excuse me. It'll be 2nd and 14. Clarence is now on the McKinley side of the field, down by 2 scores. Kenzie's in motion. Oh. Aguilera lines up in the slot. Arnold looking, runs to his right, his left. Gets across midfield, brought down by number 11. There was Antonio Brodus, all 5'8", 180 pounds of him. Doesn't get to the line of scrimmage. I saw some movement in the backfield there, Tom. I'm surprised it didn't get flagged there.
Frank, we do have a quick score update. It comes from the Lancaster-Niagara Falls game. It's 20-6 in favor of Lancaster right now in that one. The Southwestern Frewsburg game has gone final. It's 48-7. Medina scores on the first play of the game. 48 unanswered points the other way.
Arnold tosses one down the field, almost picked off.
Almost picked off and almost caught at the same exact time down there. Everybody slips on the field there, and that's the reason why you're not going to see anything called, because everybody out there slips and went down to the ground.
That'll bring up 4th and 13 for the Red Devils. Last time they were facing 4th and long, Arnold hit Kenzie for a first down.
Which was just a set of downs ago on this drive.
This is the 7th drive of the game for Clarence. 4th and 13, Arnold takes the snap, looks, no real pressure, has time. Now he starts to move, throws it down the field, had number 4 there, it goes incomplete. He was looking for Harper McKenzie. Kind of short-armed it there. There's a player from McKinley down in the secondary, waiting to see a number on that. McKinley's going to take over 1st and 10 at their 41. Is there a penalty? No, timeout taken by McKinley.
No, it's because of an injury. They're just saying as the ball's going to go the other way, as McKinley will take over on the 41-yard line.
Looking down there, Tom, I don't see Staples on the sideline. Of course, there's a big huddle. So I'm wondering if that's Staples down there. I hope it's not Ford. They brought him in. No, it's Anthony Moore III, who's had a huge presence in this game. Went over 1,000 yards today. The senior.
Well, why don't we go look at the scoreboard right now while we've got a player down, just so that we can, keep everybody updated what's going on. Here's the scores everybody can see. There's that 20-6 update, the 48-7 update. Everything else has remained the same. I'll tell you, the one game that's interesting is the Eden North Collins Portville game, and I say that because it was a shootout, 28-28 at halftime, 22-22 at halftime, and we really haven't seen a ton of scoring in the 3rd and 4th quarter out of that game.
The handoff to Williams up the middle. for McKinley. On first down, picks up about 5 yards or so. Excuse me, that was Cardell Staples on the carry. So McKinley going to try and run this clock out now with a 2-score lead, under 4 minutes to play here in the fourth quarter. Looking to advance to the second round. Last year they made it to the sectional finals at Highmark Stadium. Fell to Sweet Home. .335 on the score clock. Ford takes the snap. Hand off to Staples. Gets enough for the first down. Should get enough for the first down. We'll see where they spot it.
Take a look where your sideline refs are right now, and you can see they're giving him a first down exactly where they're standing right there.
And McKinley really can run this clock out. I don't know how many timeouts McKinley has. 3, it says 3, but I think they've...
Well, it would be how many Clarence has, because Clarence are the ones that wants to stop it.
They showed they have 3 timeouts. I'm not sure exactly how many timeouts they have, but nonetheless, coming up on the 3-minute mark here, looks like McKinley will hang on and potentially have a home game next week. Otherwise, they're heading to Will North, depending on that Spartan Viking game tomorrow night at Will North, 7 o'clock game. There's another handoff to Staples, right up the middle. Takes a few tacklers with him as he inches his way down towards the first down marker. Gets about 5.5 yards there.
And I'll tell you, if it is at Will North, that's a tough press box. I don't know if that game will get televised anywhere.
Well, I'll tell you what, it'll be a homecoming of sorts for Brian Davis, the head coach of McKinley, who played his high school football at Williamsville North.
But here's another timeout taken here by Clarence.
Smart thing to do. They want to give them some time. And looking at 2nd and 5 here. McKinley needs a first down. If they can get another first down here, it takes a lot more pressure off of them. And they might be able to coast here to the second round of the playoffs. You really got to take your hats off to Clarence, the way they battled in this game today. And honestly, Tom, heading into it, we thought this could be a 2-score, 3-score game in McKinley's favor. We're at a 2-score right now, but early on, if it wasn't for the penalties, this could be a 35-14 game. This could be a 42-14 game.
We do have a score update. Iroquois has scored, so it's 21-7 as they've entered the fourth quarter right now.
Ford with Staples in the backfield. 2nd and 5. Ford runs left. Has enough for the first down. Bounces to the outside again. Stays in bounds. Flag comes out of left field. We'll have to see what this is for.
Ford did a good job. See how he stayed in bounds?
He's purposely slick.
Yeah, he really is. We've talked about it all day. But he does a good job of staying in bounds. If it wasn't for that flag, they'd be seeing that clock still moving.
So there is a hold here. So that'll come back. Make it, I believe, a 2nd and 10.
No, that'll be a first down.
Holding on Clarence.
No, it was holding against McKinley, but they had the yardage because it's where it actually took place, the hold. So when they brought it back, it still was enough yardage for a first down.
Very good. Tom Prince, the Gene Steratore of WNYAthletics. By the way, we got to get a hold of your buddy. See if he's going to help us out at Highmark.
John Godfrey. We got to talk to John Godfrey.
The man in the booth, the official in the booth. Brings a little bit of a flavor.
I will say this, when I do the Skyline reports and I get my officials, that's a young man that I'm going to go to and ask for his opinion all the time.
Ford gives it to Staples. Heads upfield. Battling his way. Picks up a couple of yards there. It'll be 2nd and 8. Inside 2 minutes. We're at the 2-minute warning. Timeout. Clarence? We don't have a 2-minute warning? Tom's saying no. Why not?
They took a timeout.
All right. They're going to take a timeout, Clarence. We're going to take a timeout here at All High Stadium. We're going to come back for the exciting conclusion of this Class A quarterfinal.
This high school gym used to be packed most nights. Not anymore. Do you know why? Because bad behavior by fans, especially adults, has caused a shortage of game officials across the country. You see, without officials, we can't have sports. Don't let this become reality. It's time for a change. Let's bench bad behavior for good.
Welcome back to Robert E. Rich All-High Stadium. McKinley leads Clarence 28-14 inside 2 minutes. McKinley driving. 2-score lead here. Ford keeps it. Runs to the left. Bounces upfield. Picks up a few yards. Should be 3rd and 5. 3rd and 5 now for McKinley. His time's running out on Clarence here.
I'll tell you, the person who probably loves being at All High tonight and not at any of the other facilities has to be Mario Hall. Because even though you're out there, you're not in the elements because of the complete, just about the stands area where we were going to be in. He gets an opportunity to be covered, and you don't get that chance as much as a cameraman out there. And he's been doing a killer job right there on the video.
Ford hands it off to Staples. They catch him at the line of scrimmage and turn him back. There is a flag on the play. Was that Moore getting back into the game, or was that Staples? Tough to see those numbers.
That was Moore.
So Moore, it's good to see him back in the game. About 1:03 left to go here. I want to thank our lovely and talented producer today, Mrs. Heidi Gunther. She's done a phenomenal job keeping up with the down and distance, the clock, the replays, the camera switching. She's done a good job.
Well, not only that, this is new, the scoreboard thing, to our producers, too. And that's been great how we've been able to go to this out-of-town scoreboard and show everybody, like, literally what's going on inside every game. I love that feature, and I want to thank Francis Beck and Tim Gardner for helping us pull that through out here. But what a great opportunity for us to be able to go to games and share exactly what's going on inside Western New York.
Mario Hall has done a great job battling the elements, if you will.
We got a big score, and it's coming from the Eden North Collins game, as they're now up 43-28 with 1:55 left in the fourth quarter. They're going to come up with, looks like, a big win right here, Eden North Collins.
3rd and 11 for McKinley. Staples takes it up the middle, looking to get to the end zone, and he does. Cardell Staples takes it 39 yards to the end zone. A rushing touchdown.
And there's a replay. You saw as he kind of broke through right there, but breaks 2 tackles right there at the end, and then breaks it out towards that sideline, and a great job as he gets himself on the scoreboard right now. But McKinley really just comes up big and has done it with the ground and pound attack today. They really have done it with 3 different guys to be able to run the ball out there. Well, really, you could say 4 guys.
So McKinley with the dagger. Looking for a 2-point conversion here. And that should do it for the Clarence Red Devils here, who gave it a valiant effort. I mean, 8-7 at the halftime, and then,
14-14 in the second half.
So, yeah, I mean, take your hats off to Coach Chris Dixon and his staff, first year at the helm, and Staples is going to get in there for the 2-point conversion there, and that's probably how this game is going to end, 36-14 in favor of the McKinley Macs. Buffalo Public Schools will send 2 teams at least into the semifinals, and then Health Sciences, BASC charter, technically not a Buffalo Public School, but considered one by many in the area just because of their proximity to Buffalo Public Schools.
They'll take on Ken West in their game. That's probably the only game that we're talking about that may not be as close as what we thought these first 3 games may be, because we really thought there were 3 great matchups inside this A division, and we saw it in this one. 14-14 late inside that third quarter. Remember, 6-minute drive in that third quarter there by McKinley, and it really has been close ever since that point, and then we've seen McKinley take off from there.
So McKinley will kick off with under 55 seconds to go here. Thank you all for watching today's broadcast and here on the NFHS Network. Tomorrow, Tom, again, we got Barker and Salamanca. Is there another game we're doing?
Yeah, one of the ones in the
Southtowns?
Southtowns, yeah.
Are we doing Will East tomorrow?
No, Will East is Saturday.
Will East is Saturday.
Will East and West Seneca East are Saturday.
Okay.
It's one of the Southtowns games. Are we doing the Chautauqua Lake game?
Jamestown?
No, I don't think we're doing Jamestown. No, we're
can't
not doing
Chautauqua
Jamestown.
Lake. That's a difficult place to do a game. I don't think they'll try that one. Randolph. Who's Randolph got? Gowanda? Or wherever Randolph's playing. I think that's the game we're doing.
Gowanda's got
Randolph and Silver Creek is what they're doing,
yeah,
I
okay.
believe. Haven't done Silver Creek in some years. Premilewski fields it. Races to his right. Cuts back to his left. Still on his feet. Still on his feet. Finally brought down. We're inside 43 seconds here in the fourth quarter. Clarence trailing 36-14. If it's Randolph Silver Creek, I believe that's the game we're doing. The last time we did a live stream game with Silver Creek was back when Garrett Hinsdale was a junior or senior at CSP. I did the game with Coach Kurt Fisher, who was not coaching that year. We called that game at Silver Creek, and you know I'm a good friends with Sean Helmer, the coach there. They've won 3 games this year, which you know may not sound like a lot to many, but for Silver Creek, Forestville, a program that's been down in numbers. They've had to forfeit games. I think they forfeited a game this year. You know, so for them to pull out 3 wins this year and get into the playoffs, you know, that's a good thing. That's a good step for that program. And good luck to Silver Creek Forestville, the Black Knights, tomorrow as they take on Nate Armelia, rookie head coach, and the Randolph Cardinals tomorrow night in Randolph. Premilewski takes it out to the left, still on his feet, running up, brought down at about the 47-yard line, 34 seconds on the clock. Flag thrown on the play. I have to see what this is for.
There's a player down on McKinley, too. I don't like how late that flag came in. That's normally some sort of unsportsmanlike conduct.
And Tom, at this point in the game, when you're up by 3 scores, you're heading to the next round. All you want to do is just get to the next round. You know, I wouldn't have any starters out there right now. I would have my depth, my backup players, if anything. You just don't want to lose anybody, especially of the caliber of, you know, the players that we've talked about all game. Kaylon Ford, Anthony Moore, Cardell Staples, Williams, Hill, Cameron Minter, Marcus Daniels, you know, Brodus. These are guys. Keon Minter is just an 8th grader. That's who I'd have in right now.
Well, that penalty is actually going to go against Clarence, is who it went against. So that's going to come back against Clarence. The young man that's down
and
is
McCain Morgan. He's only a sophomore, so they do have their backups in there, and it's a smart play by Coach Brian Davis to bring a healthy squad to wherever they happen to play next week, whether it's here against Grand Island or next week on the road at Will North, his alma mater. So
while we're waiting, why don't we do a quick score update? It'll be our last one that we're going to be able to do. So let's see what's going on that out-of-town scoreboard.
The Western Division.
So it looks
scoreboard.
like, Iroquois has scored again. They're up 28-7 over South Park. And then we already gave you the 43-28 update, Eden North Collins and Portville. The Lancaster Niagara Falls is still 20-6 inside those games, but that's your out-of-town scoreboard.
You got to do a TV game. St. Francis and Canisius, the Monsignor Martins here in Western New York. Going to do that Saturday night, but I may go there late. I may head over to West Seneca East to check that first half at Depew, and if that's a close game, I may end up staying there.
I don't blame you. I think it's going to be another good one.
Number 68 for Clarence on my roster. It is not on there.
Shout out to number 68 for Clarence. Good sportsmanship. Your parents should be proud. The parents of 68 should be proud. Big time move, no doubt about it. And all the McKinley kids sitting over there. Yep, that's what I was saying. Is your
So they were
It was
giving
60,
somebody
number 60.
So 60 is Brody Kaufman. And that's a kid who, guess what, we've talked about as a top lineman in Western New York. And here it is. You could still be a top lineman and show sportsmanship. And we saw that out here today by Brody Kaufman.
Those seniors for Clarence playing their last game today. Andrew Judd, Jace Brinkerhoff, Nathan Arnold, the quarterback, played admirably today. James Johnson, Ryan Garver, Matt Majewski, Nathan Rott, Matthew Howarth, Brandon Reese, Owen McAfee, Ryan Premilewski, 2 touchdowns today. Prominent role in today's game. Charles Lorenz, Julian Mazzarulli, Ryan Rouse, all seniors. As this one comes to an end, Jared Redford, Anthony Cox, Caius Mattoon, Brody Kaufman, Ivan Pazalewski, Asher Prey, Enzo Zavadi, Talon Angasser, Jack O'Brien. Fine careers at Clarence. Wish you guys the best of luck in life. But McKinley, winners today, 36-14 over the Clarence Red Devils. They will move on to the semifinals here in the Section 6 Class A playoffs. Congratulations to head coach Brian Davis and his team, our players of the game. You'd have to probably start with Kaylon Ford there.
Yeah, Ford Staples is another one that you'd add to that list. I think those are the 2 big names that really got things going and really put some points on that scoreboard to really make that score what it was.
Before we sign off, Tom, what are your final thoughts on today's game? And why don't you preview a little bit, if you can, Grand Island Will North for tomorrow, who the winner of this game is going to play next week?
Yeah, so right now you've got to look at what happened in this game. We said coming into this game, McKinley had to be able to win the trenches, and they did that today. And especially on the left side, where we saw them have so much success running it to the left side. And then in the second half, they started going up the middle, right up that A gap and making it successful. They took over the game, 6-minute drive in that third quarter, and they never looked back after that point. They really controlled the line of scrimmage, controlled the time of possession, and they controlled the scoreboard right there because of it.
Yeah, Clarence, they made that mistake early in the game with the fumble, led to the McKinley's first touchdown of the game. To their credit, though, Tom, they sucked it up. They forced a punt, turnover on downs, then the interception. They go to the halftime 8-7, tie the game up 14 apiece, and then the wheels came off a little bit. But McKinley was shooting themselves in the foot with the penalties. And, when you play Williamsville North next week or Grand Island, you're not going to really get away with that too often, no matter how good you are. You don't want to be taking yourselves out of, third and short opportunities, second and short, and end up with second and 20 and third and 15 and things like that. So you'll have to clean that up. You're going to want to clean that up if you're McKinley, especially if you're going to make that run to the stadium and have a shot to beat a team like Health Sciences. So your final today, 36-14. I'd be very interested in next week's game.
Oh, no doubt about it. And it's going to be a great game. And you know what? Pretty similar to what we saw out here today. 2 teams that want to run the ball. You know that we're going to look at line play. You know we're going to look at stars both on sides. The only difference may be from Will North versus the Grand Island. Grand Island is going to try to ground and pound at you is what they're going to try to do. Will North the same, but Will North does have a quarterback that can throw the ball in A.J. Weisenberg. And he could be the difference for a Will North victory right there. And you know the confidence that young man has taken on from week 3 forward. He really has had the confidence, and that may be the difference in the game if he could put points up.
That's going to do it here from Robert E. Rich All-High Stadium. McKinley Max, 36. Clarence, 14. Your finals, they turned the scoreboard out there. 36-14, your final score here. McKinley Max are moving on. Congratulations to Clarence on a wonderful season in their program there. They'll be back strong next year. Congrats to all those seniors that won't be playing any longer, or for those that are moving on to the collegiate level. But for Heidi Gunther, Mario Hall, and Tom Prince, I'm Frank Wolf. Thank you for watching this broadcast on the NFHS Network.
1 second from half court.
Jumping for joy.
First ever.
A 2-on-1. Oh!
Did he bring it in? He did!
It is
Caught!